The alien woman said we were childhood friends, human. Now you don't recognize me. Commander Elias Kane stepped off the docking ramp of the Starhawk, his boots clanging softly against the metallic floor of Orbital City's bustling spaceport. The hum of anti-gravity lifts, the chatter of travelers, and the soft whir of robotic porters created a lively background that made him feel both alive and strangely out of place. After months of deep space missions exploring distant star systems, Earth, or at least this orbital city, felt almost foreign to him. Elias had always loved space. He loved the quiet, the stars stretching infinitely, the way a ship hummed under his hands as if it were alive. But coming back to the city now, to crowds of humans and aliens mingling without concern, made him feel small. Somehow, being a celebrated human pilot, with medals and honors for courage on missions too dangerous for most, did not shield him from the sense of isolation. He passed alien merchants selling glowing fruits from the farthest colonies and human vendors advertising artificially grown meats. Everywhere he looked, there was life, colors, sounds, and smells, but something was missing, a sense of connection. Then he saw her. She stood near the central concourse, calm and confident, yet unmistakably watching him. At first, he thought she was another tourist, or worse, someone trying to trick new arrivals for money. But there was something familiar in her posture, the way she held herself. She was humanoid, certainly, but her skin shimmered faintly like moonlight on water. Her eyes were elongated and deep, glowing faintly with a soft amber light. Her hair floated slightly around her head, as if tiny currents of air or energy kept it in motion. Elias blinked. "Commander Kane," she said, her voice smooth, melodic, almost musical. "Do you not remember me?" Elias froze. Something about the way she spoke felt important. He shook his head slowly. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" The alien woman smiled gently. "Elias, it's me, Aurelia. Don't you remember? We were childhood friends." The words hit him like a shockwave. Childhood friends? How could that be possible? He had spent his early years on one of Earth's first colonies on Epsilon 9, a small outpost far from the core worlds. He remembered friends, yes, but none named Aurelia, and certainly none who looked like this. "I think you're mistaken," he said carefully, trying to keep his voice calm. I don't remember anyone by that name." Her eyes softened, but her voice carried a quiet insistence. "I know it's hard to believe, Elias, I expected that, but we knew each other then. You were brave even as a child. I saved you once during the collapse of the hydrodomes on Epsilon 9. Elias' chest tightened. The memory of the hydrodomes, a vague sense of fear and running, flooded him. He remembered a time of chaos, a sudden accident, but not the details. Could it be true? Could this alien really be someone from his past? I don't understand," he admitted. "You must have me confused with someone else." "No," Aurelia said softly, taking a careful step closer. "I remember everything. The games we played, the trees near the hydrodomes, the sound of the storm before the collapse. I remember you being scared but determined." Elias studied her face. There was sincerity there. He had seen sincerity in many beings before, humans, aliens, even machines. But this was different. Something about the depth in her eyes, the way she remembered things he could not fully recall, made him hesitate. "You're saying you were there?" he asked finally. "Yes," she said. "I saved you. You don't remember, but you survived because of me." He ran a hand through his hair, feeling the familiar tug of doubt and curiosity. His logical mind told him to ignore her, to dismiss this as some trick or misunderstanding. But another part of him, the part that trusted instinct, intuition, and faint echoes of long-forgotten memories, felt a pull. "Why now?" he asked. "Why come to me now after all these years?" "I needed you," Aurelia replied. "The galaxy is changing, threats are rising, and humans, you Elias, are part of something bigger than yourself. But first, you must remember." Her words were strange, almost cryptic. But Elias couldn't deny that there was a sense of urgency, a feeling that time was short. He studied her for a long moment. "You expect me to just believe you?" he said finally, his voice low but firm. "I don't ask you to believe me," she said. "I only ask you to come with me. See for yourself, then decide." Elias hesitated. The crowd around them moved, humans and aliens passing by without noticing the quiet confrontation. The air in the spaceport seemed thicker now, charged with the strange tension between the human pilot and the alien who claimed to know him. "Come with you where?" he asked cautiously. "Just a short journey," Aurelia said, smiling faintly. "I will show you. You may not remember now, but you will." He looked around. The practical side of him, the trained commander, told him not to go. Unknown alien, unknown motives, but curiosity and something deeper, something almost instinctive, drew him forward. "All right," he said finally. "But if this is a trick—" "It's not," she interrupted gently. "I promise you'll see." Without another word, Aurelia led him to a sleek spacecraft waiting at a nearby docking pad. The vessel was unlike anything Elias had flown before. Its hull shimmered faintly, almost organic, with lines that seemed to pulse with energy. It was alive, or at least it looked as if it were. Inside, the cabin was quiet and clean, filled with soft lights and gentle hums. The controls were unfamiliar, but Aurelia guided him with ease, showing him that the ship responded to both thought and touch. As the ship lifted off, Elias gazed out the window at the sprawling city below. He had flown through asteroid belts, through uncharted wormholes, faced hostile alien species, and survived countless emergencies. But something about this moment, sitting beside an alien claiming to be a childhood friend, felt more uncertain than anything he had ever faced. "Why didn't you come back sooner?" he asked, trying to piece together the story. "The colony was destroyed after the hydrodomes collapsed," Aurelia explained. "I searched for you, but you were taken to Earth. I had to wait until I could find you here." Elias swallowed hard. Fragments of memories flashed through his mind. A small child running through domed gardens, laughter, sudden panic, the hiss of escaping gas. He blinked, trying to make sense of the flashes. Could these be real? Could they be her memories reaching him somehow? "You saved me," he said slowly. "When I was a child." "Yes," Aurelia said simply, "and now you might save others, but to do that you must remember who you are and trust not only yourself but also the connection we shared." Elias looked at her, really looked. Her eyes glowed with a quiet intensity, not threatening, not demanding, but imploring him to see beyond what he thought was real. He felt something stir deep inside, a sense of purpose, a spark of the courage he had always admired in himself. "I don't know if I can remember everything," he admitted, "but I'll try. I'll come with you." Aurelia nodded, a faint smile crossing her lips. "That is all I ask. Your journey begins now, Elias, and when you remember, the galaxy itself may depend on it." The ship surged into space, leaving the orbiting city behind. Stars stretched endlessly before them, countless suns and planets spinning silently in the dark. Elias felt the familiar thrill of the unknown, tempered by a strange warmth in his chest. The sense that he was not entirely alone, that the child he once was had indeed met a friend who mattered, even across species and light years. And somewhere deep within him, a faint memory whispered, "Trust." The stars stretched endlessly around them, bright pinpoints in the black void. Elias sat in the co-pilot seat of Aurelia's ship, trying to process everything she had told him. Childhood memories, lost colonies, a mysterious rescue. He had faced strange alien worlds before, but nothing like this. The feeling of uncertainty was heavy, yet underneath it, there was curiosity. Aurelia floated gently toward him. Despite her alien appearance, her movements were fluid, almost human. "Elias," she said softly, "I know it's hard to believe, but I will show you the truth." She gestured toward a small console glowing faintly in the center of the cabin. Holographic projections sprang to life in the air, forming tiny, shifting images. Elias leaned forward. What is this?" he asked. "These are memory fragments," Aurelia explained. "Not mine alone, but shared recordings of that time on Epsilon 9. I captured them when I was searching for you. They are echoes of our past waiting to be remembered." Elias studied the projections. They were faint and flickering, like distant stars forming shapes. Slowly, a scene emerged. A small domed colony, green gardens inside, children running and laughing. He could see himself, small, awkward, laughing as he chased another child. And then, a sudden tremor, a hiss of gas, walls crumbling. Fear and panic flooded him as his heart raced. That was me," he whispered, his voice shaking. "Yes," Aurelia said, "you were scared but brave. You did not freeze. You ran toward the others, helping them get to safety." The memory shifted, showing another scene. A small child himself, trapped beneath a fallen support beam. He struggled, panic filling his tiny body, until a hand reached down and lifted him gently. Aurelia's hand, shimmering in the projection, pulled him free. Elia's chest tightened. That's you?" he asked. "I saved you," she said simply. "I promised then and I never forgot. You were meant for greater things, Elias. Even as a child, you showed courage. That is why I came to you now." He sank back into his seat, running a hand through his hair. The flashes of memory combined with her words made his mind spin. Could this all be real? Could he really have known her? How is this possible? He asked. Why can't I remember it on my own? Memories fade, Aurelia said, especially under stress, trauma, and relocation. You were taken from your home as a child, placed on Earth, surrounded by humans who didn't know of your early life. Your mind protected you, but the core, the essence of who you were, is still inside you. That courage, that spark, it never left. Elias was silent, absorbing her words. He remembered fragments, the laughter, the fear, the faint outline of someone helping him. Slowly, like light filtering through clouds, pieces began to return. He could almost hear the voice of a child warning him of danger, feel the warmth of a hand that guided him to safety. And now, he asked finally, looking at her. Why now? Why come to me after all this time? The galaxy is changing, Aurelia said. New threats are rising. Forces that seek to control colonies, resources, and even life itself. Humans are young in this galaxy, Elias, but you are special. Your courage, your creativity, your ability to think differently, they are needed now. Elias frowned. Me, a human, I'm just a pilot. No, she said firmly. You are more. Humans survive where others fail. You find solutions others cannot see. That spark, the one you showed even as a child, can make the difference between survival and destruction. He shook his head. I don't know if I can believe that. I've seen advanced alien species, technology far beyond human capacity, and I survived, yes, but only because I followed orders, trained hard, and relied on tools. That doesn't make me special. Aurelia floated closer, her eyes glowing faintly with warmth. You underestimate yourself. Humans have something no machine or alien can replicate fully: adaptability, intuition, the ability to risk everything to protect others, even without guarantees of success. That is why I saved you and why I came to find you. You have a choice now, Elias. You can remain isolated, or you can step forward and see what humans truly can do. Elias looked out the window at the stars, thinking. He had faced danger before, yes, but never like this. If she was telling the truth, if there was a real threat rising, then perhaps this was more than personal curiosity. It was responsibility, a duty. All right, he said finally. I'll come with you, show me what you mean. Aurelia's smile was soft but filled with relief. Good. We'll start with the memories. See for yourself. The ship hummed as she manipulated the controls with subtle hand gestures. The holographic memories grew clearer, showing more than just the day of the accident. Elias saw himself exploring the domed gardens, discovering hidden nooks, watching alien wildlife that had been carefully introduced to maintain ecological balance. He saw moments of bravery he hadn't realized he had, moments of creativity, of helping others, of solving problems that even adults on the colony struggled with. I don't remember any of this, he said, awe creeping into his voice. I didn't know I could do any of this. Humans often forget their own strength, Aurelia said, but it's always there, even when you doubt yourself. Elias leaned back, absorbing the flood of images. Each memory left a strange warmth inside him, a feeling of connection, not just to Aurelia, but to the person he once was. He felt courage rising, not the reckless kind that led to danger, but the steady, quiet strength that comes from knowing you can face challenges and survive. Aurelia continued. There's more. I need you to understand fully, Elias, not only who you were, but who you are capable of being. This is why I saved you, why I searched for you. You have a part to play, and I cannot do it without you. He hesitated. Part to play in what? She paused, her gaze steady. In protecting the colonies, a new alien faction has appeared, one that threatens humans and many other species. They are clever, strong, and relentless. They would take control of resources critical for survival. And they have no respect for life unless it serves them. I cannot stop them alone. You are different. You think in ways they do not anticipate. You take risks they would never understand. Elia's chest tightened. Danger, real threat. His mind, trained for military tactics and strategy, immediately started analyzing possibilities. Could he really make a difference? Could a human, him, stand against such forces? Yes, Aurelia continued, reading his thoughts. You may feel small now. But humans have always surprised others. Even as children, humans showed creativity, courage, and unpredictability that others could not match. That is why I came to you. You are not just a survivor, Elias. You are a spark. The word resonated within him. Spark. He remembered the small flashes of bravery from his childhood, The determination to survive, to protect others, to act when the outcome was uncertain. Perhaps Oralia was right. Perhaps humans were more capable than even they realized. "Show me," he said finally, determination creeping into his voice. "Show me how we can do this." Oralia's smile widened slightly. "We will begin soon, but first you must trust yourself and trust that the memories are real. That courage, that spark inside you, it is part of who you are and it always has been." Elias nodded slowly. I'll try. I want to remember, I want to understand." The ship hummed quietly around them as they traveled further into the void, away from familiar stars and planets. Outside the viewports, strange nebulae glimmered, alien worlds rotated silently, and the vast unknown stretched endlessly before them. For the first time in a long time, Elias felt not just curiosity, but purpose. A mission. A reason to step forward and embrace not only the unknown, but himself. Oralia's hand hovered near the controls. "Our first stop," she said softly, "is a place that holds the keys to the memories we cannot fully access yet. There you will begin to see not only who you were, but who you can be, and perhaps why humans are truly remarkable in this galaxy." Elias looked at her, and for the first time he allowed himself to feel hope. The stars outside were endless, but now there was a path forward. He didn't fully understand it yet, but he knew that with Oralia guiding him, and with the courage he had always carried inside him, he could face whatever awaited. And deep within, a memory whispered softly, faint but persistent, "Trust. Trust yourself. Trust the spark inside. Trust the bond you once shared." The journey had begun. The ship glided silently through the dark stretch of space between distant star systems. Orlia's hands hovered over the controls, her eyes scanning holographic displays that flickered with star charts, unknown signals, and distant colony markers. Elias sat beside her, the weight of his newly recovered memories settling into something tangible. Courage, determination, and a spark of purpose, the pieces of himself he had long forgotten, were rising again. "We're approaching the outer rim," Oralia said softly. "A mining station on asteroid K-47. It has been overrun by a hostile alien faction. They're not just attacking humans, they are capturing resources, enslaving automated systems, and spreading fear among colonists. We need to assess the situation." Elias leaned forward, studying the displays. "Hostile aliens? Do we know what we're up against?" "They are advanced in strategy and coordination," Oralia explained. "Stronger than most humans or smaller alien species, but not invincible, and their technology, while impressive, has limits. That is why we can succeed." Elias nodded. Despite the fear and uncertainty, he felt the familiar thrill of a challenge. Humans had always been underestimated in the galaxy, but he had learned, through memory and experience, that courage and ingenuity could make the difference. The ship slowed as they approached the asteroid. The mining station loomed ahead, a massive structure of metal and reinforced domes, partially damaged with flickering lights signaling distress. Small crafts, shaped like predatory insects, buzzed around, guarding the perimeter. Elias felt a shiver of tension. This was real danger, not simulations or memories. "We need a plan," he said. "We can't just storm in blindly." Oralia nodded. "Agreed. Their patrols follow predictable patterns, but they adapt quickly. Humans, your strength is in improvisation. I need you to think creatively, to anticipate what they cannot. Can you do that?" Elia's jaw tightened. "I can. Let's do it." They activated the ship's stealth mode, the hull shimmering to blend with the darkness of space. Oralia guided the vessel close to an unmonitored section of the station. The docking clamps extended, and the ship latched onto a side bay. The two of them moved inside, careful to avoid patrols. The station's interior was dim, the air thick with smoke and the hum of damaged machinery. Elia's senses sharpened. Every shadow, every distant movement mattered. The alien intruders were not aggressive yet. They were confident, expecting humans to flee or hide. That overconfidence would be their weakness. Oralia led him down a corridor toward the control hub. "We need to access the central systems," she said. "If we can override their controls, we can free the colonists and regain command of the station." Elias nodded, scanning their surroundings. They passed empty quarters, storage rooms, and the remnants of machinery that once supported mining operations. Evidence of struggle was everywhere: scorch marks, broken doors, scattered tools. Yet the faint traces of life, the hope of survivors, drove him forward. Suddenly, a patrol appeared around a corner. 4 alien soldiers, tall and armored with glowing eyes and sharp appendages designed for combat. They had not detected the ship or Oralia yet. Elias whispered, "We need a distraction." Oralia glanced at him, eyes flickering. "Your idea, human." He took a deep breath. Scanning the storage room nearby, he spotted several small energy canisters. With precise movements, he nudged one down the corridor with a soft push. It rolled, clanging against metal, drawing the patrol's attention. The aliens turned instantly, their predatory instincts kicking in. As they followed the sound, Elias and Oralia slipped past them, hearts pounding but minds focused. "You are good at this," Oralia said, quietly impressed. "I remembered some things," he replied. "Human intuition, it's not about strength or speed, it's about seeing what others miss." They reached the control hub, a room filled with alien technology, glowing consoles, and an enormous holographic map of the station. Oralia connected her interface to the system, her fingers dancing across alien symbols. "I can override their patrols, but we need to disable the power nodes manually. That's where your ingenuity comes in." Elias studied the map, noticing gaps in the patrol paths and structural weaknesses. He spotted a maintenance shaft leading directly to the central power nodes. "There," he said, "we can sneak in, cut the energy lines, and the station will default to our control." Oralia nodded. "I like your thinking. Let's move." They crawled through narrow maintenance tunnels, the hum of machinery vibrating around them. Every step was careful, precise. Elia's heart raced, but he felt alive in a way he hadn't felt in years. Memory and instinct guided him, every action measured yet fluid. Reaching the power nodes, they paused. 2 more alien guards approached, their armor gleaming under the dim lights. Elias whispered, "Follow my lead." He grabbed a nearby pipe, swinging it to knock a small sensor offline. The guards hesitated, surprised by the unexpected disruption. Oralia activated a localized energy pulse, temporarily stunning them. Together, they disabled the nodes, sending a shock through the station systems. Lights flickered, doors unlocked, and the alien patrols were thrown into confusion. "Good work," Oralia said, her voice tinged with admiration. "Humans truly think differently. I underestimated the speed of your adaptation." Elias felt a surge of pride, not arrogance, but the quiet satisfaction of survival and effectiveness. "We're not done yet," he said. "We need to free the colonists." Oralia nodded. They moved through the corridors, opening doors and guiding frightened humans and other alien allies to safe zones. Children clung to their parents, miners embraced each other, and every rescued face reflected relief and hope. Elias realized the full weight of his actions. This was not just strategy or skill, but courage in the face of real danger. In the central hub, Oralia adjusted the system to broadcast a warning signal to nearby colonies. "We've sent a message," she said. "If reinforcements come, they will know what happened and can prepare. You did this, Elias. Human intuition, courage, and trust in yourself. That is why humans can stand among the stars." Elias allowed himself a small smile, though his mind was still racing. "I couldn't have done it alone," he said. "You guided me, but humans have something different, something unpredictable, something others can't always calculate. That made the difference." Oralia studied him with a soft, almost tender gaze. "Yes, that is why I sought you. You are the spark I remembered from long ago, and now you shine again." The station was secure for now. They had prevented further disaster, but Elias knew the threat was not over. The alien faction would not retreat quietly. They were clever, resourceful, and ruthless. But humans, he realized, were not easily broken. Their strength was not just in weapons or technology, but in creativity, courage, and adaptability, the very traits that Oralia had reminded him of. They returned to the ship, the rescued colonists safe, systems stabilized, and the immediate danger contained. Elias leaned against the console, breathing deeply. I think I understand now," he said. "Humans aren't weaker because we are young. We survive, we adapt, we find ways others can't even imagine. That's our edge." Oralia nodded. "Exactly. That is what I hoped you would remember. That spark is inside you, Elias. Humans may be new to the galaxy, but they have something others do not. And with courage, strategy, and the willingness to act, they can face threats that seem insurmountable." Elias smiled faintly, a new determination settling in. "Then we keep going. We learn, we adapt, and we protect. We show the galaxy what humans are capable of." Oralia's eyes glowed softly. Yes, and we start with understanding the threats fully. We cannot stop here. The galaxy is wide and danger will rise again. But humans are special. That is why I found you. Elias looked out at the stars once more. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in a long time he felt ready. Ready to face whatever came next. Ready to embrace his past, his courage, and his human ingenuity. And ready to work with Oralia, not just as an ally, but as a friend who had waited across years and light years to remind him who he truly was. The ship moved forward, leaving the asteroid station behind. The stars stretched endlessly, a vast canvas of possibilities and dangers. But Elias no longer felt small. He felt capable. He felt alive. And deep inside, he felt the spark of something greater. Human potential, human courage, human adaptability, the very qualities that had saved lives today and would shape the future of the galaxy. The journey continued. The ship cruised through a region of space scattered with glowing nebulae and asteroid fields. Elias sat quietly in the cockpit, his mind racing with thoughts of the events at the mining station. He had seen firsthand how humans could face danger with courage and ingenuity, and he had begun to understand what Oralia had meant about human potential. But now, the stakes were higher. The alien faction was clever and organized, and he knew the next encounter would be more dangerous. Oralia floated toward him, her soft glow illuminating the cabin. "Elias," she said, her voice calm but serious, "we need to move quickly. Intelligence reports indicate that the faction has established a stronghold on a nearby planet. They have captured several colonists and are using advanced technology to control the region. We cannot wait any longer." Elias nodded, determination settling in. "Then we go." "But how do we approach? They'll be expecting humans, expecting interference." "That is where your strength comes in," Oralia said. "Humans do not always follow predictable patterns. You think creatively, adapt quickly, and take risks others would avoid. That unpredictability can be an advantage." Elias took a deep breath, feeling the spark of confidence that had grown within him over the past few days. "Then let's show them what humans can do." They approached the planet cautiously, hidden by the shadows of the asteroid belt. The alien stronghold was massive, a combination of natural caves and advanced structures built into the mountainside. Energy shields glowed faintly, signaling that the defenders were alert and ready. Oralia guided the ship toward a less monitored entrance. "There is a maintenance tunnel that leads inside," she explained. "It is lightly guarded. If we use it, we can gain access without triggering alarms, but once inside, we must be careful. The stronghold is heavily fortified and full of patrols." Elias studied the tunnel on the holographic display. "We'll need to split up," he said. "I can disable the security nodes while you guide the colonists to safety." Oralia nodded. "Agreed, but remember we must stay connected. Trust is essential. If we are separated, we could be lost." Elias smiled faintly. "Trust, I remember that now. You saved me once, Oralia. I trust you. Let's do this." The ship touched down softly near the tunnel entrance. They moved carefully, their steps echoing faintly against the stone walls. The air was tense, filled with the faint hum of alien machinery and distant footsteps. Elia's heart raced, but he felt alive, focused, and capable. As they entered the tunnel, they encountered the first patrol. 2 alien guards moved methodically, scanning the area. Elias whispered, "Let me handle this." Using quick thinking and precise timing, he created a small distraction by triggering a loose piece of machinery to fall and clang against the wall. The guards turned, investigating the noise, and Oralia slipped past them, guiding the hidden colonists toward the safety zone. Elias followed quietly, moving with confidence and awareness. The tunnel opened into a central chamber filled with energy nodes and control panels. Elias examined the nodes, noting the complex alien design. He had no formal training with this technology, but human intuition and problem-solving guided his actions. He realized that by rerouting the energy flow, he could disable the security systems temporarily. Carefully, he manipulated the controls, using logic and creativity rather than brute force. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and the security shields dropped. A faint alarm sounded, but it was minimal, giving Oralia and the colonists time to move. "You did it," Oralia said quietly, her eyes glowing with admiration. "Humans are remarkable. You solved a problem others would have struggled with for hours." Elias smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "It's what we do. We adapt. We think differently. That is why we survive." As they moved through the stronghold, they encountered more patrols and obstacles. Elias used every bit of ingenuity he had, hiding in shadows, creating diversions, and improvising with materials found in the environment. Each success reinforced his confidence, and he began to understand the true meaning of Orlia's words. Humans were capable of greatness in ways that were not always obvious, but could change the outcome of even the most dangerous situations. Finally, they reached the holding area where the colonists were imprisoned. The aliens had placed energy barriers around the cells, preventing escape. Orlia examined the controls but struggled to override them completely. Elias stepped forward. "Let me try." He studied the alien system, noticing patterns in the energy pulses. Using his intuition, he found a weak point and applied a calculated adjustment. The barriers shimmered and fell, freeing the colonists. Children ran into their parents' arms, and adults embraced each other, tears of relief streaming down their faces. "You did it again," Orlia said softly, impressed. "Humans truly are special. Your ability to think, adapt, and act under pressure, it is unmatched." Elias felt a deep sense of fulfillment, not just for the success, but for the connection he felt, with Orlia, with the colonists, and with the human potential that had always been within him. Suddenly, the stronghold's main alarms blared. The alien faction had detected the intruders. Patrols surged, and the chamber filled with energy weapons charging. Orlia grabbed Elia's arm. "We need to move, now." They led the colonists through a hidden exit, moving quickly but carefully. Elias used his knowledge of the layout and the terrain to guide them, anticipating patrol movements and avoiding confrontations where possible. His human creativity and quick thinking allowed them to stay one step ahead. They reached an open cavern that led to the surface. Outside, the night sky of the planet stretched endlessly, stars twinkling above. The colonists looked at Elias with gratitude and awe. He realized that their survival was not just a matter of technology or power. It was human courage, ingenuity, and determination that had made the difference. Orlia turned to him. "You see now, Elias? This is what I wanted you to understand. Humans can face threats that seem impossible. You are not weak. You are strong in ways others cannot predict." Elias nodded, his heart filled with pride and resolve. "I understand now. Humans are not just survivors. We are innovators, problem solvers, and protectors. And we can make a real difference, even against forces that seem stronger than us." Orlia smiled, her eyes glowing warmly. "Exactly, and now we must continue. This faction is only one of many threats rising in the galaxy. Your courage, your spark will be needed again." Elias looked at the colonists, seeing hope in their eyes. He felt a deep sense of purpose. "Then we keep going," he said. "We protect, we adapt, and we fight for what is right. Humans are capable of more than anyone realizes." Orlia placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch gentle but reassuring. "And we will do it together. Trust, courage, and adaptability, these are what make humans remarkable, and I knew it all along." The colonists boarded the ship safely, and Orlia piloted them away from the planet, leaving the alien stronghold behind. Elias sat in the co-pilot's seat, looking out at the stars, feeling a profound connection to Orlia, to the human spirit, and to the potential that lay within himself. For the first time in years, he felt truly whole. He remembered the child he had been, the courage he had shown, and the spark that had always been inside him. And now he understood that humans were capable of greatness, not just as individuals, but as a species, innovative, courageous, and full of untapped potential. The journey continued, but Elias no longer felt fear or uncertainty. He felt strength, purpose, and the knowledge that humans could face even the greatest challenges with creativity, courage, and determination. And with Orlia by his side, he knew that together they could overcome any obstacle the galaxy presented. As the ship glided through space, Elias whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning. Humans will shine, and we will face the stars without fear." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a vast frontier full of danger, wonder, and possibilities. And Elias Kane, human pilot, childhood survivor, and now fully awakened to his potential, was ready to meet it all. The vastness of space stretched before them, endless stars twinkling like distant lanterns in the dark. Commander Elias Kane sat in the co-pilot seat of Orlia's ship, his mind replaying the events of the past weeks. From the memories of his childhood to the dangerous rescue missions, every moment had brought him closer to understanding something fundamental. Humans were capable of greatness. Courage, creativity, adaptability, these were not just traits of survival but of influence. Humans could shape the galaxy. Aurelia floated beside him, her eyes glowing softly. Elias, we have located the central hub of the faction, she said. This is where their command and control systems operate. If we can access it, we can prevent further attacks on human colonies and other species. But be warned, they know we are coming. The final challenge awaits. Elias tightened his hands around the console. He had faced danger before, but this was the culmination. The alien faction was organized, experienced, and ruthless. Many would have called it impossible, yet he felt ready. The spark Aurelia had reminded him of, the courage of his childhood, the ingenuity he had discovered in himself, was burning brighter than ever. Then we end this, he said quietly. We protect the colonies and we show the galaxy what humans can do. Aurelia nodded. Yes, together. The ship approached the planet silently, hidden by the natural shadows of the asteroid belt. The alien stronghold loomed large, a fortress carved into the mountainside with energy shields that pulsed faintly. It was a fortress built to intimidate, to show strength. But Elias knew that strength alone was not enough to win. Strategy, intuition, and courage, the traits humans excelled at, would be their greatest weapons. Aurelia piloted the ship to a side entrance, less monitored and partially hidden by natural rock formations. We'll enter here, she said. The path is narrow, but it gives us a chance to bypass the main defenses. From there, we must move quickly. Elias studied the holographic display. Patrol patterns were visible, energy nodes glowing like eyes in the dark. He traced the routes with his fingers. We can do this, he said. We use the shadows, move fast, and improvise where needed. Their predictability is their weakness. Exactly, Aurelia said. Humans think differently. You see possibilities that others overlook. The ship touched down gently and they moved through the rocky tunnel. Each step was deliberate, every sound measured. Elia's heart raced, but his mind was calm and focused. He had faced fear before and learned to channel it into action. Now he relied on instinct, strategy, and creativity, all human strengths. They reached a junction where the path split into multiple tunnels. Aurelia paused. The control hub is in the largest chamber, but the patrols are dense. We must divide to succeed. I will lead the rescued colonists to safety. You take the nodes and disrupt their systems. Elias nodded. We'll reconnect after the disruption. Stay safe. Aurelia's hand brushed his shoulder briefly. Trust yourself, Elias. Trust your spark. He nodded, feeling the warmth of her words. The memory of being saved as a child, the courage he had discovered in the mining station, and the ingenuity he had used in the stronghold, all of it converged now. He was ready. The tunnels opened into the massive control chamber. Alien technology filled the room, glowing with a cold, blue light. Central nodes pulsed with energy, linking the entire network of the faction's operations. Elia's mind raced. The system was complex, but patterns emerged. He recognized weak points, areas where he could apply pressure without triggering alarms. He moved with careful precision, adjusting conduits, rerouting energy flows, and disabling security protocols. The room was alive with humming energy, but he felt calm, almost in sync with the system. His human intuition guided him, each adjustment calculated yet creative, exploiting flaws the aliens had overlooked. Suddenly, alarms blared. Sensors detected his presence. Alien soldiers surged into the chamber, weapons raised. Elia's heart pounded, but he did not hesitate. Humans were adaptable. Humans were courageous. Humans thought in ways others did not anticipate. He used the environment to his advantage, creating diversions by manipulating energy conduits. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and the soldiers hesitated, unsure of the shifting threats. Elias moved quickly, disabling nodes, rerouting power, and systematically dismantling the alien control system. Every action relied not on brute force but on observation, intuition, and improvisation, the traits that defined humans. Aurelia's voice came through the comm link. Elias, the colonists are in position. We need the main system down now. He focused, tracing the final link in the network. One precise adjustment and the energy nodes overloaded, causing the entire system to shut down. The pulsing shields fell, alarms silenced, and the alien soldiers were left disoriented. Done, Elias whispered, a mix of exhaustion and triumph in his voice. Excellent, Aurelia replied. You did it. Humans are remarkable. Your creativity, courage, and adaptability saved the colonies and neutralized the faction's threat. Elias looked around at the silent chamber, seeing the result of his actions. The aliens had underestimated humans, relying on their own technology and strength. But humans had a spark that could not be calculated: intuition, ingenuity, and the will to protect others. And that spark had turned the tide. The colonists emerged, led by Oralia, their faces filled with awe and gratitude. Children ran into the arms of their parents, and adults embraced one another. Elias felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that their survival was due not just to technology or strategy, but to the human qualities he now fully understood and embraced. Oralia approached him, her expression warm. "Elias, you have done more than I could have hoped. You remembered the courage you had as a child, the spark I always believed in, and you used it to change the outcome of this conflict. Humans truly are extraordinary." Elias nodded, a faint smile crossing his face. "I understand now. Humans survive and adapt not because we are the strongest, but because we think differently, act creatively, and face danger with courage. We are capable of more than we ever imagine." "Exactly," Oralia said. "And this is only the beginning. There are other challenges, other threats, but now humans have proven they can rise to meet them. And with allies, with courage, and with trust, we can protect the galaxy together." The ship lifted off, carrying the freed colonists to safety. Elias sat back, gazing out at the stars. He remembered the child he had been, the courage he had shown, and the spark that had always been inside him. Now, fully awakened to his potential, he knew that humans could face even the greatest challenges and succeed. Oralia floated beside him. "You have come far, Elias. You remembered, you adapted, and you led. That is the legacy of humanity, the ability to survive, to protect, and to inspire. And now you will help shape the future." Elias nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "Then we continue. We protect, we adapt, and we rise. Humans are capable of more than the galaxy realizes, and we will show it." The colonists cheered as the ship approached a safe colony, their hope restored. Children waved, adults thanked them, and Elias felt the weight of responsibility but also the thrill of possibility. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders alike, but humans, despite being young in the cosmic stage, had a spark that could illuminate the darkness. As the ship docked and the colonists disembarked safely, Elias looked at Oralia. "We've done a lot, but there's still so much to do. I want to help humanity rise, to learn, to grow, to show the galaxy what we can do." Oralia's eyes glowed warmly. "And you will, Elias. You've already shown that humans are extraordinary. Courage, creativity, trust, and adaptability, these are the qualities that define you and all humans. The galaxy will remember this day, not because of technology or power, but because of the human spirit." Elias smiled, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. He knew that humans were capable of greatness, and now he had a chance to be part of that story. The child he had been, the memories he had recovered, and the courage he had discovered, all had led to this moment. And the journey was far from over. As he looked out at the stars once more, Elias whispered quietly, almost to himself, "Humans will rise, we will face the stars, and we will shine." The galaxy stretched endlessly ahead, full of possibilities, challenges, and wonders. And Commander Elias Kane, human pilot, childhood survivor, and now fully awakened to his potential, knew one thing with certainty: humanity's spark could never be extinguished. It would grow, illuminate, and inspire across the stars, leaving a legacy of courage, ingenuity, and hope. And with Oralia by his side, he knew that together, humans and their allies could face whatever the galaxy held and succeed. The journey continued, but now the spark of humanity burned brighter than ever.